Good evening everyone and welcome to League of Europe. Yes, so this is not a drill, we are live on a Monday night for the F2 Championship, which is starting off tonight in its Season 2, Round 1 of Bahrain. People are probably tuning in and thinking, well, what on earth is this? Well, it's the F2 Championship, League of Europe style, and we are here, of course, at Round 1 at the Sakhir International Circuit in Bahrain. It's good to see quite a few people already tuning in to the lobby, to the stream, which is good to see. Of course, I'm a very familiar face around here. I'm James Head, volunteering myself forward to do commentary for the next few weeks for League of Europe F2. I was going to say TTL F2, that's tomorrow though. But good evening to everyone that is tuning in. Let me run you through then what you have got to expect for this season of League of Europe's F2 Championship. We of course are running in the F2 2019 cars. It is on a Monday at 7 o'clock, so we've got about 6 minutes until the start of qualifying, which will be 30 minutes in length. Once qualifying has been completed this round, there will be no qualifying for the remaining rounds after that. We've got 14 rounds in total. The rest of the races are to be reversed as championship grid order. So essentially, if you're at the back of the field coming from the first race, you're going to be starting at the front for the second race. It's essentially like the sprint race, but the whole field is reversed. That's the best way I can probably describe it. It's 100% race distance here tonight, so you are going to be seeing the full Bahrain F2 distance. And just for a note as well, there is an in-game rule that has been included where the drivers will have to pit on lap 6. If you don't pit on lap 6, if you pit earlier, if you get wing damage or make contact with another driver, then obviously you can pit, but you've still got to pit on lap 6 because that's an in-game rule. If you don't pit on lap 6, then the regulations will come in and you'll get disqualified from the race. It's a bit daft, I know, but don't shoot the messenger. You have to use both compounds of tyres. I think tonight it is softs and mediums, if I remember rightly, around Bahrain. I might be wrong on that. I'll confirm that, of course, in qualifying. Lobby host, of course, is ILRT Dan. We thank him for setting up the lobby. And for the reversed grid races, this is pretty much from next week onwards. Make sure you are in the lobby within the time, because we'll have to put the grid running order together. At the start of the race, when everyone is selecting their strategy, don't ready up. It gives everyone time to select their strategy and the host will then start. So, you've been warned. Damage on full, ghosting is on, car setup is fixed, so it's a default setup, and you can change the brake bias during the race if possible. Strict corner cutting, dynamic weather, formation lap on, and pit assist off. They are the settings here tonight. Point standings, we have got an extended point system from the normal F1 standings. 25 points for first, 20 for second, 17 for third, fourth gets 15, fifth gets 13, sixth gets 11, and then from 7th downwards it's 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, with the top 15 positions getting paid points. Qualifying points are also available as well out on track. First we'll get 5 qualifying points, second we'll get 3, and third we'll get 1. I think it's a really good idea to have. It keeps the championship very close-knit as we go through the 14 rounds that we've got for you this season. No points though if you do DNF or if you lag out, especially because I know there are a few connection issues that have been occurring recently. If you leave the lobby and you have a disconnect, and you're not under your own steam, then I don't think you'll get the points either. So just to confirm that. Well, the calendar. We've got 14 rounds and we do have 14 weeks full on of action. So we're going to be seeing you until the 3rd of May for the F2s. Bahrain starts us off, of course, tonight. We go to Belgium next week, Japan after that, Austria after that, and then China, Brazil, Abu Dhabi, Spain, USA, France, Italy, Mexico, Britain, and Germany, ending us off on the 3rd of May on a Monday night. Let me talk you through then who is in what car for tonight. We have got a couple of drivers missing. We've got 12 currently in the lobby, which is fantastic to see. There are a few spots still available. I'm just looking through the list here. There are a few spots available, so I'll tell you them as we go along. So, in the column, supposed to be here, is Toxic and Bullet Boy, two drivers that I'm very fond of in Division 1, of course, if you have been tuning in to Division 1 on a Saturday night. Our Grand Prix is free, but we can see two of the reserves are in, McCrew and iTom. And iTom, I do believe, has got through into the Esports Pro Draft, if I'm not mistaken. So well done to him. He's got through to the next stage of that Esports Pro Draft, so well done to him, the Dutchman there in the Arc Grand Prix alongside McCrew here tonight. Dams have got ILRT Dan and B Morgan, who are both here, both Division 2 drivers. Very, very much looking forward to seeing how they get on in a very strong team, I've got to be honest. Sir Ibbo and V5 HRL in the Univertosi car, that's the yellow car that you'll see on your screen. Prima, we are supposed to have Cam here in Prima. He can't attend this evening, so we'll see him next week in Belgium. Sharu, Jasper, VDM, VDW and Raja Iron. Raja Iron can't make it, but you can see Jasper on your screens. He is in the Cyber Junior team by Sharu, of course. They were formerly known as Russian Time back in the day. QVR Campbell and the recent winner of Division 1, QVR Verstappen, also here in the Campos. Both of them are teaming up, as you can see on your screen. MP Motorsport, 2 free spots in there, so if you want to sign up, there's 2 free spots there in the MP. There's also 2 free spots in the Arden car as well, car number 18 and 19. And then in the Trident, we're supposed to have the Irishman, Gary Donegan. He can't make it tonight. And Bray is here. Well, he is here. There he is on your screen in the Trident. And as I say, Cloudy Cloud, who can't make it as a reserve. iTom is here, as well as McCrew. And AWA is also, I think, is he here or not? He isn't. Roger Iron, sorry, is here. So I'm going completely mental with myself there. But of course we are here at the Sakhir International Circuit. I'll tune into the comment section as we go along this evening. I'll tune in just a bit to see how you guys are doing. But we are here at the Sakhir International Circuit in Bahrain. It's round 1 of the championship. There are 3 DRS zones out on track. Of course, the DRS zones can be used in Formula 2, which is fantastic because I can talk you through them. 15 corners for the drivers out on track. Of course, there's a lot of tricky corners out on this track, and especially if you overpower and oversteer through the corners and apply a bit too much power out of them, you will really feel that back end kick out, and you'll probably see a couple of spinners, I think, out on track tonight. The 3 DRS zones, by the way, are down the start-finish straight, 1 up towards turn 4 and 1 also down on the back straight, as I call it, between turns 10 and 11, and that is around halfway through the lap down the middle sector. So then, let's tune into the comment section. We're about to get going here for the first race this evening of Formula 2's Championship in League of Europe. I can't wait for the action to unfold out on track. I'm sure you guys can't as well. I will have a look at seeing who is in the comment section. Good evening to everyone, and it's good to see quite a few familiar faces tuning in as per usual. Juma's here, Cadwell's here, Boolem here. Good evening to you all. Good evening to Toxic. Good evening to Nico, who is tuning in as well. And Frankie supporting Jasper there. Jasper, of course, in the Sharu car. He is in the very similar looking Alfa Romeo. So you'll probably imagine that when we go along on the stream. A Rogue Ghost coming in, cheering for Ibbo. Wish I could join, but I will be racing here in a minute. Well, at least you're racing around the track. That's the main thing. Unfortunately, not with us, which is a shame. Good evening to Sea Salt as well. Breadbank, that is, tuning in. Of course, part of the GT Sport team. I'll be racing in there on Wednesday. That's why I don't commentate on a Wednesday now, because I drive in League of Europe's GT Sport in the GT3s. Bright night lights here in Sakhir, and we've got 30 minutes of qualifying, which gives me a really good opportunity to talk you through, if you are new to Formula 2, some of the aspects and some of the drivers and their championship prospects here tonight, because with this being a very extended session in qualifying, it is going to be quite something to see out on track. It's going to be a spectacle for you guys as viewers. It's going to be a spectacle for me tuning in as well as your commentator for certainly the next few weeks. I'm not sure if I'll be around for the full season. We'll have to see as the weeks go along, however. We have got the first car coming out on track, and that is B Morgan coming out on track. One of Division 2's finest drivers, and I'll get some stats up about him in just a second. I'm working this very quick time so I can give you the best possible quality of of commentary out on track this evening. B Morgan coming out in the Dams car, and he's the first one out on track going through turn 1. Let's have a look then at how he's been doing in Division 2 currently. I think he's in Division 2 or Division 3 this season. If I can't see his name in Division 2, then... Oh, there he is. He's down in 19th position. Hasn't scored any points this season by the looks. Has finished in Australia, Bahrain and China. Not going to fill him up with much confidence given his results, but I can certainly imagine he's going to be there or thereabouts here tonight. Of course, we have got the drivers out on track. I'm perfectly perfect with the strategies, with the tyres I should say. I did say softs and mediums it is for the drivers out on track. Remember, these guys will have to pit in, as we see B Morgan just going slightly wide there off turn 10, and he is warming up the tyres nicely. You can see the full track map is in use as well on the right hand side of your screen, so you can have a look at your favourite drivers in terms of dots going around out on track. That's probably the best way I can describe it. If I don't catch on board with the driver that you're particularly looking for, have a follow of the track map. Just ignore me and my commentary and the camera going on. Just listen, just have a look at the track map on the right hand side of your screen, because you can see the colour coded cars. Like for Dams, for example, they're in a turquoisey blue colour. Verstappen and Campbell and the Campos are pretty much like Papaya and McLaren. They're both going just to the middle sector through turn 10. But let's take you through then a lap of the Sakhir International Circuit with B Morgan, Division 2 driver here in League of Europe, coming into F2. I think he competed last season, if I'm not mistaken. But B Morgan now down into turn 1. Not like the breaking points in Formula 1, and you certainly won't be seeing the speed of these cars through Formula 1 either. Through turn 2, really attacking the apex nicely. Opens up the DRS. Remember, 3 DRS zones out on track here this evening. Up towards turn 4, slight rise up the hill before coming through the S section. Of course, this track opened in 2004. Pedro de la Rosa still has the track lap record around here, and it was Michael Schumacher who took the first race win. 31.9 through the first sector for B Morgan. He's through the S section safely, and now up towards turn 8, which is this right-hander, before this very tricky downhill double combination, this double left-handed corner out on track through turn 9, and then you can really see the camber of the corner just kicks out suddenly. He gets the apex nicely there though, and opens up the DRS, as we are pretty much halfway through a lap here at the Sakhir International Circuit, on board with the Dams car. Of course, we will ride on board with pretty much everyone, I would imagine, during the session. Good to see a lot of familiar faces here tonight in the Formula 2 Championship. B Morgan then coming around the final couple of corners now. Through the middle sector, he goes purple, as you see on the track map, a 1:16.1 I think it was through the middle sector there. You should be expecting lap times around the late 1:30s, early 1:40s I think here, possibly tonight. I haven't done a lap around this track, so I'm pretty much going into the unknown by saying that. B Morgan though through turn 14 and 15, there is a little kink there through turn 15, and B Morgan now about to come across the line, and yeah, he's about there or thereabouts, a 41.2 there from the Dams car. We've got Toxic just behind him out on track. He's about to come around the final corner. Looks like it might be LRT. Who was that? That's Braid just about to come across the line, I do believe. Braid comes across the line, 43.9. Toxic across the line, 40.3 on a set of medium compounded tyres. That's a very nice lap there. Now already we're nearly 5 minutes through qualifying, but it does give me a good opportunity to ride on board with everyone. The German Rajian coming across the line. I will mispronounce that, so don't get at me if you are a fan of him and you want to ruin my accent. I can't really pronounce that. He's off into the, he's off just wide there. He's getting out the way of the drivers out on track. He's gone 5th. However, Verstappen and Campbell have just gone ahead of him. Of course, Verstappen, very, very familiar face if you did tune in on Saturday night to Division 1 in League of Europe. He took the win in Spain. Campbell also took 2nd back then. Oh, and he's going to be out the session in a minute. Well recovered. Goodness me, he was so close to the wall. How on earth a Scotsman has recovered that is beyond me. And he's actually just a 100th of a second ahead of B Morgan, who's in 4th. Let's ride on board then with Tom, who is on a lap. I think he might have invalidated this one, actually. He's a little way off the pace. In the Grand Prix car, of course, out on track, McCrew, his teammate, 201 flat at the minute for McCrew, but he's 12 seconds up. He is red in the first sector, however, but he's 12 seconds up on his lap, so he will improve, no doubt. Let's ride on board then with Jasper, who's actually just ahead of him out on track. He's in the other Grand Prix car, I do believe, out on track. Yes, he is. Good job, I checked that. No, he isn't. He's in the Cyber Junior car. It's very difficult to confirm who's in what car. Tom has just came across the line there to set a 52.3. Jasper, though, the Dutchman, coming up towards the final two corners now through 14 and 15. Bray has just gone into 5th with a 42.6. Toxic, the current provisional pole sitter, with a 40.3. Remember the qualifying points: 5 for first, 3 for second, and 1 for third. So the top 3 in qualifying do get extra points to their championship standings, which I think is a great initiative going forward. And of course, if you do want to sign up, and if you feel inspired by Verstappen's lap time of a 40 flat in Bahrain, then do join up, because there are seats available in the Trident and in the BWT Arden, both seats available in those cars respectively. And I think the Grand Prix cars are available on a full-time basis. McCrew and Tom are filling in for tonight. LRT Dan, though, about to come across the line. Have a lobby holes here tonight, and he comes across the line to go 5th with a 42 flat. LRT down there, just behind his teammate B Morgan by about 8/10 of a second, so not bad lap there at all. Let's try and ride on board then with somebody out on track. Let's ride on board then with Tom, another Dutchman out on track. It's like the Dutch League is taking over here in League of Europe. He's 9.1 seconds up on the pace. That's Bullet Boy just behind them. And I will point out, Tom spins out of the turn, out of turn 13. Bullet Boy taking good avoided action there, if I'm going to be honest. He's on a set of medium compound of tyres. Now, one thing I'll point out, when Toxic gets out on a lap, and funny enough, I'll run that on board now, both Carlins have different colour schemes. You'll see by Toxic's car, he is in the red, white and blue Carlin. While we ride on board with Bullet Boy, he is in like a greeny, yellowy type white and blue. So that's how to define who's in what car in the Carlins. Everyone else, I think, is pretty much just the same slipstream. Bullet Boy, I think, did he just invalidate there? That's why we're showing in red. There is a dams just going off on the right-hand side there, but not too bad. Let's try and board them with Bullet Boy. He's about to come through the first sector. Remember, 31, yeah, I think he has invalidated. That's why it's showing up, which is good, actually, because it's showing up on the track map as drivers invalidating the lap. I found that really nice, as Bullet Boy has actually just gone for a bit of a half spin through a very high gear, and he rejoins just about. There was a dams going slow. I think that's LRT Dan, who's about to come across the line now. Let's try and board with him across the line. 41.1 by LRT Dan. And B Morgan actually has just gone third as well. Just failed to pick up on that, but he has gone third with a 40.8. And a good opportunity actually to ride on board with drivers that you might not necessarily see. Certainly from a Division 1 point of view, me commentating here tonight, I don't know some of these guys as good as, say, for example, Verstappen and Toxic. I've been commentating on those guys week upon week. I'm racing against some of them in GT Sport as well, so I know what they're like. So Ebo were on board within the Univertosi car, the sole representative of the Univertosi team. And funny enough, the Univertosi team does have links with the Renault Sport team as well. And I'm not sure if you have heard today, Jack Aitken has stepped down from his reserve role within the Renault team. I think he's going to be going to another championship, possibly, I've heard, somewhere in Asia. So they're just coming through the middle sector there, 19.5. We'll obviously see how that unfolds for the Brit, who was obviously a real staunch supporter of Renault over the last couple of years, and he's obviously leaving Renault indeed. Having a look at some of the comments. Of course, if you do want to show any support to the drivers, you do want to show support for me in the comment section as well, do that, because I do get very lonely. It's a 45.1 for Sable coming across the line. And if you are just tuning in to League of Europe, no, you have not woken up in a coma, because I thought that immediately when I started this stream. Yes, we are live, and this is Formula 2. So welcome, and welcome to my world for the next an hour and a half or so. Verstappen, Toxic, B Morgan, currently your top 3 out on track, as we have just gone through the first 10 minutes of this 30-minute qualifying session. This is the only time you will be seeing qualifying actually this season. The rest of the races will be based on reverse grid championship, so you'll only be seeing streams of about an hour and 10 minutes maybe at the max, I would think, for 100% feature race. Obviously with the qualifying, this stream will be a little bit longer than the norm, but we have started right on time, so that makes a big difference. Bullet Boy then, coming through the middle sector. Just ignore the tyre graphic on the left hand side of your screen. He is not on a set of soft compound of tyre. You can probably see that with your eyes. He's on a set of medium compound of tyres out on track. Bullet Boy then coming around the final couple of corners. This is looking like a very competitive lap from the Brit. As I think McCrew has just gone up into 6th there. Bullet Boy actually betters him. It was McCrew just going into 6th. Bullet Boy betters him by about 0.2 of a second. So Bullet Boy up to 6th, McCrew up to 7th. And McCrew, of course, is in the Arc Grand Prix team. Now, there is an 11th team coming into F2 next season. It is, I think, Pertec Racing, if I remember off the top of my head, as I go frantically to have a look at who is the 11th team. It's High Tech Grand Prix, sorry. It's High Tech Grand Prix, the 11th team. So they've been added to the F2 lineup for this season in 2020. British-based team. They are. They've obviously joined. They joined F3, the European F3 Championship, following the merger between that and the GP3. And in their short F3 career, they have actually produced 4 wins, 1 pole position and 6 podiums out of a couple of seasons, so that's not bad at all. And if they can take that to Formula 2 level, then that'll be even better, of course. McCrew just going a bit slow out on track, but I think he is giving slipstream to Tom, who is just in behind him. Yeah, clearly working together, the 2 Arc Grand Prix cars, as Toxic goes quickest by 0.002 of a second. Toxic goes quickest by 0.002 of a second, and literally only 0.002 in it, because Verstappen is just behind him out on track, with B Morgan now 3rd, Dan in 4th, and Campbell in 5th. Now, I think Campbell was actually behind Verstappen, so I have a feeling Campbell's lap time has actually been invalidated. Well, I'll run on board with that actually now and see if that was the case, unless he just hasn't came out the pits, and I think he hasn't came out the pits. Let's just have a look through. Toxic, a 40 flat, 40, just having a look through. Yeah, Campbell obviously picked up a warning on that lap. His quickest lap was a 41.183, but it has counted. So, I might be just making things up as I go along, to be honest. Bray, just about to come around the, across the start-finish line. He does improve, a 42.4 in the Trident. He is in the Trident tonight, and I do believe he is a full-time driver in that for this season as we approach halfway in qualifying. Of course, if you do want to get in touch, do like, comment, and subscribe, as McCrew was off somewhere out on track. That was through turn 3, I think it was. I've just missed that. We're right on board with Campbell. See if we can pick up on where McCrew actually, as I look into the comments of that latest comment that has been put in. McCrew, yeah, there he is, left hand side of the track. He's actually lost it through turn 2 and in towards turn 3. So McCrew out of the session, won't be improving on a 41.5. Breadbang putting in the comments, very cheeky, hashtag friends for James. Don't get that trending on Twitter by any means, because I will come and hunt you down quite literally, and I will not be your friend. That's as simple as that. Anyways, I'm going to go off commentary for just 30 seconds. I've got a message to reply to, and I'll be back in just a second, as we see Campbell spinning through turn 8. I'm back. There we go. Toxic still on top here in qualifying. We are halfway through in Formula 2. And yes, if you are just tuning in and you weren't expecting a live stream on a Monday night, well, welcome. Welcome. We are going to be here, of course, for the next couple of weeks or so in the Formula 2 Championship. Oh my god, and I'm coming through twice on my on the YouTube. Jesus Christ, I nearly had a stop there. Goodness me. But Toxic out on top in the Carling, from Verstappen in second in the Campos. Campbell in third, his teammate, who was just came into pits there. We're right on board actually with Verstappen, who I think is on a lap. Let's run on board with him as he comes towards turn 5. 31.6 through the first sector. So let's really get into the grips of what the driver is actually going through out on track. Coming through into turn 8. Got to just lock up there, Verstappen. Got to get the exit of the corners around here in Bahrain. Like with most F2 tracks, F1 tracks with F2 cars on, they've got to get the max power out of the corner, but you don't want to apply the power too much because you'll end up spinning that back end and you'll end up spinning probably out of the race and maybe out of the session as well. Verstappen though coming through turn 11 at the end of the straight again, locking up, running no ABS. Verstappen, which is good to see, of course. We do like to promote that here in League of Europe. Toxic and Verstappen, though, still separated by 0.02 of a second. But Verstappen looking quite clean on this lap. He has lost about 0.04 of a second through the middle sector, but he is still over a tenth up. So Verstappen, the Dutchman, going to try and better his Division 1 rival Toxic, who obviously finished 12th in Spain last time out. Verstappen now around the final corner. He's about to come across the line. I think we're going to break into the 39 as well with this. Coming across the line. Yeah, easy. 39.8. He found 0.08 of a second in the final sector there. So Verstappen, 39.8, out on top in the session. We'll try and run on board then with somebody else that is on a lap. Rajayan, oh, just going on board with him, having a spin out the final corner. That's what I mean with the drivers. They don't want to apply too much power out of the corners, otherwise they'll spin the car, and that is a perfect example of what I've been trying to write at home here already within the stream. And these cars are so difficult to handle, honestly. Good to see actually the whole field's pretty much separated by about 5 seconds out on track. There you go, 5.2 seconds separating. So Ibo currently out on the lap. Now he's the first driver that I've seen out on a set of soft compound of tyres. This will suit him well. He will improve on his time. Whether he can improve ahead of some of these guys is a different matter. But Sebo coming through, and he's a second up actually, so he's going to be going close to Tom and Rajayan's time out on track. And again, don't come at me in the comment section because I'm getting this pronunciation wrong. I don't really commentate on him in League of Europe, so I'm just trying to pronounce the names as best as possible. So Evo coming around the final couple of corners, and I think he could go ahead of Tom's time here. He comes across the line and he's just shy, 44.1, but nearly a second improvement there. I think he'll be pleased with that. But Verstappen currently out on top, from Toxic in second, Campbell in third. While we've got a bit of a break then in the action out on track, we're right on board with Tom, who is just coming round the final 2 corners to go onto a lap. I want to get you guys talking about something. Of course, it was announced earlier on in the week, last week of course, that Aston Martin Racing is going to be taking over Racing Point. What are your guys' opinions on it? I want to hear your guys' opinions on it. To see what you guys really think. I think it's a good idea. It's a £500 million rescue deal for Aston Martin itself, but £182 million is being put in by Lawrence Stroll, of course, who is part of the Racing Point team in Formula 1. What do you guys think of that? We want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. Do comment your opinion on what you think. McCrew's saying nice first time, no traction, which is not too bad actually. 41.5. He's already out the session, but you should take a lot of pleasure in that lap, to be honest. And there's still 10 minutes to go in qualifying. I've got to be honest, I can't really see anybody improving ahead of you below. So 8th down to 12th, I can't really see anybody improving. Tom is on this out lap at this stage, currently out on track. So Ibo is also on a lap. Lewis coming in and saying, I can confirm poo did come out when I went for a trip through the gravel. Let's try and keep a PG on the stream, please. I don't want to read out your comments like that. Sebo has gone quicker than Tom in the meantime, and the set of softs beginning to come into play at 43.5 out on track. And remember, these guys do have to set these guys do have to use both compounds of tyres during the race. So if somebody starts on a set of softs, they're going to have to use mediums. If you go on to a set of mediums, then you have to use the softs. It is pretty much simple as that. Rajayan and Tom are currently on outlap. Sorry, Rajayan is currently on an outlap, and he's the only one really. Sebo gets out of the way there. Rajayan is the only one out on track. I think everyone is just pretty much having a break now in the session. 9 minutes to go. Verstappen's still out on top with that 39.8, the only driver in the 39 so far tonight. Toxic in second and Campbell in third, both in the 40s, along with B. Morgan actually in fourth. We should see improvements made if the drivers do decide to go on a set of soft compound of tyres, as you are seeing with Rajayan, who has swapped from a set of mediums to a set of soft compound of tyres. Isn't the beautiful night lights here in Bahrain nice for the action here out on track? I think it's really, really great indeed. As I'll have a look to see what is going on. McCrew's saying he can't use both tyres. Oh dear. He can't use both tyres. If you pit in on lap 6, and if you've got a set of soft compound of tyre free, any soft compound of tyre, you will be able to use that, because otherwise I think you might get a penalty from it. But we'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Rajayan though coming around the final corner to start off on his lap. I do apologise, I'm just drinking that on stream. It is non-alcoholic, of course, with me doing commentary. But quite a few cars now coming out of the pit lane, as you can see on the track map. The two Dams cars coming out, and that's not what we like to see coming through turn 1. Rajayan has gone for a bit of a half spin there. Can he get the car going? Yes, he can. So Rajayan covers the car. Luckily, everyone behind is just coming out of the pits. B. Morgan and Dan are the first two out on an outlap at this stage. Both Dan's cars, 4th and 5th at this stage. 40.8 for Morgan, a 41.1 for Dan, respectively. Oh. Let's just really sit back and relax, because there's not really much I can commentate on at this stage. So what I'll do actually is run you through how Dan has been getting on in the standings in Formula 2. There they are. Just getting up. Yeah, Dan currently sitting in 3rd in Division 2 currently on a Saturday. 3rd place and a 2nd place to his name. That was in Australia and Spain respectively. And it would help if I was on board with the right driver. There he is, out on track. Dan also picking up 5th place and 7th as well in Bahrain. So if he can repeat that form here tonight, then obviously Dan is going to be a possible lead contender for tonight. Of course, Verstappen and Toxic currently out on top still. You can see everyone out on their outlaps, but I'll take you through of a lap with ILRT Dan with 6 minutes to go here in qualifying. And it's only beginning to get very, very saucy out on track, with Dan now coming across the line to start off his lap. In the Dan's car, coming down towards turn 1, break of the 100-metre board, turn in deep into the apex, get the best run out as possible. Yellow flag in sector 3, don't worry about that, because there'll probably be drivers on an out lap. Dan through turn 3 nicely. Now with a slight rise, slightly uphill towards turn 4. Course 2004 this track was designed and held its first F1 race. Dan now coming through into the first sector split, and he's down actually on his time, 31.9 through the first sector there for Dan. 999, hopefully nobody will be calling that number here tonight. Dan now through turn 8, getting nice and tight into the apex, got a floor off the throttle coming out of the corner, doesn't want to oversteer the car slightly. Now through the double left at turn 9 and 10, hanging off the camber of the corner now as he comes through turn 10, and then opens up the DRS once again, coming down the straight. The grandstand on the right hand side of your screen. Now up towards turn 11, we have got other drivers out on track as well. Campbell and Morgan along the lights, we'll go on board with them in just a second. You can follow the progress on the right hand side as well on your track map. Dan now through the tricky turn 12, which can catch people out if you catch on the inside of apex. 1/10 up for Dan currently. We should be seeing him improve a lot more than this, I've got to be honest. 41.1 for the Dutchman. Can he go and improve ahead of his teammate and maybe improve ahead of Campbell? I don't think he'll be getting up towards second and first. Dan though, through turn 14, now through the kink of 15, doesn't ride the outside of the apex, through on the right hand line, and now coming across the line now, Dan set a 41 flat, a little bit disappointed in that. B Morgan just coming across the line at 41.9. Campbell on the lap is 2/10 up. Rajayan's gone 6th with a 41.2. Bullet Boy has had a moment coming out of turn 13. Not sure what happened there. Jasper has improved on his time to 42.1. He's on the set softs now. Bray and Tom are also on laps. Let's focus then on Campbell. He's 2/10 up through the first sector, now coming through the second sector split, and he's 6.5 up, nearly 7/10 up in fact. I think Campbell could be aiming towards going pole here. Bullet Boy is just ahead of him out on track. No, he's not. My eyes are going completely insane. Campbell now through the final two corners, locks up, but will get the run out the corner safely. Verstappen currently on top. Can he knock his teammate off pole position? Nowhere near in the end. It's a 39.9 for Campbell, and he's actually only a 10th off. When I say nowhere near, he's only a 10th off. I thought he was going to set a 38 there. Goodness me. Campbell with a 39.9, so the two Campos, first and second. Carlin is third. There is Toxic out on track with 3 minutes to go. B Morgan is in fourth with RRT Dan in fifth, and we'll have a ride on board with Dan because this is looking like a much better lap from Dan. 4.5 He's got his teammate just behind him out on track, and I think he's down on his time as well. Dan now coming around the final couple of corners, looking to prove himself to be a leading contender, I think, early on in this season. Of course, this is only round one of the championship. Dan better come across the line. He's going to go ahead of his teammate, and he goes ahead by about 2/10 of a second. Lost a little bit of time through the final second. That's B Morgan off, his teammate off in the background. He reverses out of the way of the drivers, which is good to see. I think that is Jasper better come across the line. It is. Jasper comes up into 6th. Good improvement there. And also Tom improving up to 10th with a 42.3. Jasper with a 41 flat respectively. 2 minutes to go. Rajayan into the pits. Bullet Boy is on the lap. He's on a set of soft compound of tyres. He's on a 41.3 so far. And really close-knit grid, if I've got to be honest. Top 10 separated by just over 2 seconds out on track. Now, if you're thinking, well, that's quite bad, as Bullet Boy, I think, has invalidated. He has. Bullet Boy might have invalidated there. Tom is on lap 2/10 up. We'll try and ride on board with somebody out on track. Campbell across the line, goes quickest, found the time in the final sector, just catching on board with the end of his lap there in the Campos. And Campbell goes to the top of the timing screens with 1 minute and 30 seconds to go. Rajayan and Morgan aren't going to be coming out the pits. I think their qualifying is pretty much done. Verstappen is improving 2/10. Toxic didn't improve, I think. He's invalidated actually a 40 flat, I think that was, from Toxic. So Toxic now better come around. Actually, he's just started his lap, so fairly with that. Toxic just starting off his lap. Let's ride on board with him. 31.6 for Toxic. We'll ride on board with Verstappen actually, who's just coming through that final sector now. Verstappen 5/10 up, so he looks like he could be going top, trying to repeat his form from Saturday night in Spain. If you have just tuned in to not hear the Division 1 result, then I'm very, very sorry indeed. Dan has retired from the session. I think that was coming into the pit lane. It was. So Dan is out the session, as is Bullet Boy. He is also retired from the session. Verstappen about to come across the line now. 39.3 I'm going to put this as, and it's a 39.1 actually from Verstappen. 7/10 improvement. I think that'll be hard to beat. Let's see how Toxic's getting on in the Carlin. The sole representative now out on track, with Bullet Boy retiring out of the session, and he's 4/10 up through that middle sector. He's got to find 6/10 in this final sector. That is very hard to do, given that there's only a straight and 2 corners left to go for Toxic. He ran wide on the exit of turn 13, now coming towards 14 and 15. Will get the card steadily into the corner, looking nice, catching the curb slightly on the exit. Toxic now about to come across on here, goes second with this. Across the line, 39.6, just beats Campbell, who is not improving on his lap. Jasper, I don't think, is improving. He's actually run out of fuel, so Jasper is out of the session. Tom is out of the session as well. So Verstappen has taken pole position with a 39.1 out on track. because Jasper and Tom have run out of fuel, and Verstappen then has taken pole position in the first F2 race of the season here in League of Europe. So Kvyat Verstappen on top, Toxic second, Campbell in third. Remember, qualifying points do go to the top three, so Verstappen has earned himself 5 points, Toxic has earned himself 3, and Campbell has earned himself 3 respectively as well. But just waiting on Jasper and Tom to come across the line, hopefully within the 2-minute time limit. And Verstappen, they're both just coming through the middle sector there. Verstappen now coming round the final corner, not going to be improving, but he is going to be coming back into the pits. So Verstappen back into the pits. As you can see, Jasper struggling to get around. It is pretty much a race now for who is going to be first to get round the track. And it looks like Tom might be, as Jasper has retired, and Tom should retire here as well. So Verstappen takes pole position. We'll run you through the rest of the field, of course, in due course. Top 11, I'll ride on board actually with that. Top 11 separated by 2.7 seconds. Top 6 separated by less than 2 seconds, and the top 3, separated by 0.5 of a second, just over out on track. We're just waiting now on Verstappen to retire. There we go. That is the end of qualifying here, the sole qualifying session within Formula 2 this season. 100% feature race still to come up, so plenty of action still to come. But Verstappen takes pole position and takes with him 5 qualifying points. Toxic in second takes with himself 3 qualifying points, and Campbell respectively taking 1 in third. Dan in fourth with B. Morgan in fifth. Jasper in sixth with Rajayan in seventh. Bullet Boy in eighth. McCrew in ninth. Tom in 10th. Watch out for Morgan, Bullet Boy and McCrew. They're on a set of medium compounded tyres. Of course, everyone does have to pit on lap 6. Bray and Sir Ibel 11th and 12th. The Maltese driver there down in 11th, and Sir Ibel down in 12th. Of course, many of these drivers will be going on a bit of a learning curve over the next 14 weeks. Some of these guys raced last season. Some of these guys are brand new to the championship. There are still additions to be made as well. Gary Donegan will be debuting next week. There's a couple actually that's going to be debuting in next week. And of course, I remind you, if you do want to sign up to the F2 Championship, there is a sign-up sheet within the Discord. It's under the F2 section of the Discord. Have a look at that. Sign up, because it's a lot of fun. The Tridents are available, the BWT Ardens are available, and there's a couple of other seats available as well. You can contact ILRT Dan if you do want further details on that. We are waiting now for the players to get going. 25 seconds then for everyone out on track to get going and load up their setups, of course, for tonight's action. And hopefully we are going to be seeing a fantastic race out on track tonight. As McCrew and Tom have readied up, we now have a look at the comment section to see how you guys are doing. McCrew saying he can't use both in qualifying. I do apologise, I thought you meant something else. Bullet Boy coming and saying, hey, I don't know how these guys are so fast. It's going to put you in the place. It's putting you in the place, isn't it? That's what it is. 32 laps then, out on track in the Sakhir International Circuit. And Dan coming in and saying the young talents. Yeah, the young talents indeed. We've got a lot of mix of divisions here from League of Europe. A majority of these guys race full-time in their respective divisions. Of course, I've been used to commentating over the top 3, respectively. Verstappen, Toxic, Campbell, and indeed Bullet Boy. And I've raced against a couple of these guys in GT Sport as well. There's a Carlin off track, which only leads me to believe it's Bullet Boy. He's probably trying to listen to the stream while he's trying to drive. It's not the best thing to do, if I've got to be honest. I want to see your predictions though for your top 3. This is the first race of F2. Of course, 100% feature race. The aspect will be on the tyres. Of course, the drivers, we have got a bit of a mix in the strategies. I'll get that up now to talk you through. And actually, because I've just thought it's qualifying, the drivers do have a fresh set of tyres that they can run on in the race. I totally forget about that. It's the one rule I totally forget about in Formula 2. So the drivers actually are on a fresh set of tyres. You can see a lot more medium runners in the top 10 than there was in qualifying. So Verstappen, Toxic, Campbell starting on a set of softs. They're going to go possibly 2 softs, softs to mediums, of course, are the 2 available tyres. 3 of these guys Division 1 drivers. We should see them towards the top of the standings. Dan, Morgan, Rajai and Bullet Boy McCrew all on a set of mediums within the top 10, as is Bray and Sebo. They're on a set of mediums. And Jasper and Tom, respectively, are on a set of soft compound tyres along with the top 3. I'm going to make a prediction, by the way, and I am going to say Verstappen for the win. I'm going to go Dan for second, and I'm going to go for Campbell for third. Toxic and the rest, I'm very sorry. I don't think you're cut up enough to win here tonight. Of course, like most of my predictions, I have been wrong. So prove me wrong, guys, out on track. Prove me wrong. Frankie coming in and saying he hopes Jasper has a good performance. Yeah, Jasper's starting 6th on a set of softs. He's got some medium runners there around him. Should be interesting to see how he gets off the line. Of course, the guys don't want to be wheel spinning off the start because that'll just look totally wrong out on track. But the final car joining on the grid. So we are about to get going then for the Formula 2 Championship. The 100% feature race about to begin here in Sakhir. And it's lights out and away we go. Good start by Verstappen. He's bogged down slightly. Toxic gets a very good launch and he's already taken him off the line. So Toxic will lead then down towards turn 1. The two Campos are side by side. Verstappen on the inside of Campbell. Sorry, Campbell on the inside of Verstappen trying to go up the inside. Dan as well just forced up onto the curb. Looks like it's all clean in the background. Bray and Tom and maybe McCrew just having a bit of a coming together there. But all fine as Abel struggles to get the traction out of the corner. Top 3 beginning to pull away early on as Toxic leads the way through turn 4 for the first time, with Verstappen in second, Campbell in third, Morgan in fourth, with Jasper in fifth. You can already see the race has been split apart currently. Dan has moved up past Rajayan, he's up into sixth. Bullet Boy is in eighth. Tom and Bray are going side by side on the background of shot as they come now through towards turn 8. That was Rajayan trying to have a look up the inside of RRT Dan, I do believe. Sorry, it's Bullet Boy trying to look up the inside of Rajayan. It's difficult to keep on top of some of these guys. Jasper right on the back of B Morgan trying to go down the inside. Bullet Boy nearly into the back of ILRT Dan. Of course, they do have to get the cars stopped out on track. 100% feature race here out on track as Jasper is on the inside line about to get past B Morgan, and I think he secured the position. So Jasper making good ground up the field and he's up into 4th position early on. He does have a mount to the climb though if he wants to get to the top guys who are Toxic, Verstappen and Campbell for the top 3 as Bullet Boy and Dan go side by side. Bullet Boy going around the outside, that was completed slightly off track. Dan will have the run out the corner and Bullet Boy being forced out wide of the camber of the corner. Rajayan now on the inside line. I think he'll go sailing past down the inside. Of course, drivers have got to be on the urge of caution, to be honest. Rajayan cuts the corner on the inside, forces Bullet Boy around on the outside, and he gets the move done. So Bullet Boy into 7th, and he looks quicker than Campbell at that. Sorry, he looks quicker than Dan at this stage. As they come past the line to start lap 1, there's a bit of timing issues on my screen, but Verstappen and Toxic are battling out for the lead of the race as Toxic holds on to the lead of the race from Verstappen. They're pulling away from Campbell in 3rd. Jasper is in 4th, B Morgan 5th. Dan in 6th, just being done by Bullet Boy down the inside into turn 2. That was a great move there by Bullet Boy around the outside of him. Dan in 7th, Rajayan in 8th, McCrew in 9th. There's 3 wide nearly in the background. This is what we're on board with now. Tom trying to go around the outside of Bray. The Maltese man on the inside. Tom makes a little bit of contact, rejoining circuit. Not in a dangerous position. It was just purely he lost the corner. He lost the car on the curb there, and Sable right on the background of him in 12th position. But Toxic, the top 3, fighting like mad as they come through turn 10 once again on lap 2. Of course, the drivers do have to pit on lap 6. If they don't, I think they get disqualified as Jasper runs out wide there in the background of shot. B Morgan and Bullet Boy having a bit of a coming together slightly. But it's Toxic who leads from Verstappen in 2nd. They're beginning to pull away slightly from Campbell in 3rd. We should see the timing screens come back to us as they come across the line, as Bullet Boy has actually got the move done on B Morgan. So the Carlin car up to 5th, and he is the best of the medium runners at this stage. Tom has been overtaken by Bray. Sorry, he got overtaken early on in the lap. That is why I don't trust the timings on the left-hand side of the screen. Toxic then will lead towards the end of lap 2, and the DRS now will be enabled. Verstappen running the slipstream. Look at how quick he is down the straight. Look at the dust being kicked up as well from Toxic. This is going to try and put Verstappen, who's going to look to the outside here for turn 1. Campbell in the background will just be wetting his lips at this stage, determined to fix themselves. Verstappen up the inside of turn 2. Toxic around the outside, always going to have the traction, has got the move done. But again, the DRS is enabled. This is the first opportunity these drivers can use the DRS out on track. And the top 3 have already pulled away by 6.3 seconds. The race splitting in half, quite literally. You can tell who's Division 1 and who isn't at this stage. Toxic leads, Verstappen second, Campbell in third. Verstappen just getting caught on the curb slightly, losing a little bit of time to Toxic. Campbell just locking up slightly. This is a yellow flag in sector 1. It's Rajayan who is round, and he's round at turn 5, of course. He does have to continue on in the race, and he will have to pit now, and he also will have to pit on lap 6 as well. And also VSC and safety cars will also be out on track, I do believe, here tonight as well. Bullet Boy right on the back of Jasper though in the meantime. Jasper under pressure, not getting the traction down off the corner. Bullet Boy looking on the outside line. He will open up, he has got the DRS open. I think Jasper might just let him through on this one, and he does. Bullet Boy round the outside of turn 11, and he gets the move done on a set of mediums. He's now up to 4th. Good move there by Bullet Boy, and good respect shown there by Jasper out on track. Very clean opening for F2. I didn't really know what to expect coming into the race here out on track, but lap 3 out of 32, we better go on to lap 4. Toxic will lead from Verstappen in second. We're right back on board with the battle for the lead, because this is going to get quite dicey down towards turn 1, I feel. Verstappen right on the back of him. Toxic just switching left slightly to try and break the toe. Not managed to do that. Verstappen now is on his inside line. Toxic looking quite vulnerable down the inside here. Verstappen down the inside of him into turn 1. Toxic will be on the inside of him into turn 2, but it's not good enough as the Campos has sailed through into the top spot. So Verstappen into the lead. Toxic trying to break the toe respectfully. Verstappen just lacking slightly. Hopefully it's not a repeat of Spain all over again. And I think it might be, actually. He's right on board with Campbell. Yeah, Verstappen really lagging out on track. Hopefully he hasn't got the stream running in the background. If you do, turn it off, because it is going to affect you quite a lot. This is very similar to what we saw in Division 1. I think, actually, it might be a little bit worse than what we saw in Division 1 on Saturday. And the crew, in the meantime, trying to get on the back of Dan. And this is for 7th and 8th out on track. The Campos car. Sorry, the Dam's car. Goodness me. The Dam's car gets the Arc Grand Prix car. The yellow flag in sector 1. It is Raj Ion again, who's lost it at the same corner. Toxic right on the back of him. Toxic right on the back of Verstappen though, still in the meantime. We'll ride back on board though with McCrew, who is looking to try and get this move done on the Dam's car ahead. Dan in 7th. He's got his teammate actually ahead of him at 1.4 seconds up the road at this stage, as McCrew has a bit of a half spin. Luckily he's kept the car going. As soon as these tyres start to go out on track, that is it for the drivers. They're going to have to rely on their instinct alone, as Toxic brakes way too late for the final corner. Goodness me. He struggles to get the run off the final corner, and now the Scotsman, Campbell, right on the back of him. He's going to try and stick within the toe. Verstappen should keep the lead, then down into turn 1. But it's all about the battle now and behind. Toxic and Campbell for 2nd and 3rd. Campbell braking later, just gives Toxic a bit of a love tap. And again, it's not Love Island out on track. Toxic still hangs on to the position from Campbell, and Campbell actually having a bit of a poo run out of the first couple of corners there. Verstappen though still leads by 6/10 of a second from Toxic in 2nd, Campbell in 3rd. Right on board then with B. Morgan, who is beginning to catch the back of Jasper. Jasper, you would imagine he would have been pulling away from B. Morgan, but both of them looking quite consistent to each other out on track. They're not really pulling away from each other. And actually, let's speak about the pit stop, because Rajayan is coming into the pit. Of course, it is a 6-man crew here, not like Formula 1. The front wing change happens first, the back tyres go second, and then changing on, of course, to the set of tyres out on track. And I hope to God that is a set of mediums that he's going to be going on, because if he's allowed on a set of mediums and a set of softs, then it's beyond me. But Verstappen leads the way still out on track from Toxic in 2nd. B. Morgan trying to get on the back of Jasper though in the meantime. Rajayan has came out the pit, so he's just about to come out the pit. You can see on the track map where he is out on track, and he's a full half a lap down on his nearest rival, which is able just ahead of him out on track. B Morgan though right on the back. Oh, as Jasper has a bit of a slide out of turn 12. That's the first moment we've seen there through turn 12 tonight. Oh, and that's even a worse moment because Bullet Boy is off. Bullet Boy is off through turn 13. He will have to rejoin track in a safe manner. He can do that now because Tom is not coming round. Toxic has set the new fastest lap of the race. Yellow flag in sector 3 is for Bullet Boy. Is Toxic, his teammate, is trying to go around the outside of Verstappen. Or how we've seen this before. Verstappen going to be outdone, I think, by Toxic here. And a good move by the calling car, the Brit, down the inside of the Dutchman. And he's up into the lead of the race as B Morgan goes sailing past Jasper down the straight as well. Yellow flag in sector 3 is once again Bullet Boy, who was spun out the final corner. Just seen that on the track map. Dan trying to go up the inside. There's a lot happening out on track. Verstappen trying to go back around the outside. Surely not. He's going to stick the car up the inside. Leans off the curb slightly. Toxic always going to have that move done though. So Toxic leads the race, and the two Campos nearly come together. Campbell braking a much later than Verstappen. Bullet Boy is into the pit and has retired out on track. Even though Rajoyan was about a sector behind him, Bullet Boy obviously feeling the need to retire out on track. Verstappen on the back of Toxic though in the meantime. Bullet Boy leaving the session. We do thank him though for attending. We are on lap 6 out of 32. This is the lap where you should be seeing everyone come into the pits as Toxic has had a moment and Verstappen says thank you very much. Round the outside he goes through turn 11. Toxic still on the inside into turn 12, but not good enough. Toxic just having a slight moment coming out of turn 11, and Verstappen says thank you very much for that one. Campbell making a very similar mistake to Toxic just ahead of him. As they now come down towards the final corner once again. Final two corners out on track once again. We're about to go on to lap 7. Verstappen leads, Toxic second, and Campbell in third. The drivers out on track coming across the line to start lap 7 out on track. Verstappen leads, Toxic second, Campbell in third. B Morgan fourth, Jasper in fifth, Dan in sixth. I'm pretty much looking like a fool to be honest, because I've said everyone will be pitting on lap 6. They won't. Don't listen to me. Toxic around the outside of Verstappen gets the move done. So Toxic back ahead of Verstappen. Good move there by the Brit on the Dutchman once again. And look at the Scotsman in behind. Campbell really on the back of him. Campbell then in towards the next couple of corners. Through turn 4. He's going to get the run on his teammate. He could be up the inside here. You'll see it side by side. Little bit of bumping and barging. Little bit of banging wheels. Verstappen not giving him too much room around the outside there. And although there might be the teammates out on track, there's certainly no love lost between them out on track either. They're fighting for themselves. That's what we like to see. Toxic in front then by 0.6 of a second from Verstappen in second, Campbell in third. What I'll do then, while we've got a little bit of break in the action, and Toxic will keep the lead down towards turn 11, is I'll have a look at the comment section, see what you guys are saying, see if you guys are enjoying the first race of the season here in the F2 Championship. Of course, we've got Belgium next week if you are wanting to tune in more. Go Jasper, says Frankie, and Bullet Boy saying these races are so long. They are so long. Well, it's probably because of the 30-minute session as Dan is up the inside of Jasper. Jasper trying to force the issue back around the outside of him. Never going to have the traction round there, my son. And Dan is up into 5th position. Jasper has to give way on a set of soft compound of tyres, and he picks up a 3-second time penalty for his pain there. Toxic then leads on to lap 8 out on track. We are quarter distance here of 100% feature race. We are 25% way through. Toxic leads from Verstappen in second. Verstappen getting close to the back of Toxic. Not going to be quite close enough. And Toxic really excelling in the cars. And the top 3 have really taken a scruff of the race right from the outset. As we see Jasper right on the back of Dan in the background. We're now on board with these guys. 5th and 6th currently out on track. Jasper looking to the inside, trying to pressurise Dan into making a bit of a mistake. Dan, of course, on a set of mediums. He will probably go a little bit longer into the race. Jasper on a set of softs. Getting a better run out of turn 3. Now slightly uphill towards turn 4. He could be up the inside here into turn 4. He's going to have a half a look. He positioned himself right to the inside and forces Dan pretty much wide of the corner. Jasper taking the inside line, but Dan always going to have the traction around the outside of him, and he will come out in front. So Dan holds on to the position in 5th position for the Dams team. Verstappen making a mistake, hanging off the camber of the corner there. That was a very rare mistake by Verstappen. First mistake that we've seen from him out on track, of course running car number 14. On board with Campbell though, running car number 15 out on track. Just standard numbers, of course. The drivers aren't allowed to change their numbers. They are standard to the F2 Championship. We're on board though with a bit of a battle developing in behind. It's a Cheroux against an Arc Grand Prix. Even though the colours might look the same, they're definitely not. Arc Grand Prix car of McCrew, right on the back of the Cheroux car of Jasper. Two Cheroux still going around out on track, as are the two Arc Grand Prix, but aboard the only retirement if you are just tuning in out on track. As I'm going to try and commentate with a bit of an ice cube in mind, McCrew got a much better exit. Bray is into the wall on the back there, the Maltese driver. Bray is round through turn 13, applying a bit too much power. That's why the yellow flags are in operation in sector 3. And McCrew now pressurising Jasper down the straight. Jasper hasn't got any DRS. McCrew now, I think he might just sail past this one down the inside, braking slightly later than Jasper. Jasper gives him the room, and McCrew is through, and he's up to 6th. Good move. Easy move, I've got to be honest. The Arc Grand Prix past the Cheroux, and now he can focus on Dan, but Jasper's not giving this up without a fight, and actually he's trying to go back around the outside of him. A little bit of banging wheels, but the Arc Grand Prix car always going to hold the inside on, and McCrew will hold into 6th position. Really good action out on track here tonight. Jasper just locking up on the set of softs. Doesn't want to be doing that. You can see actually through the rim of the car, through the middle of the tyre, you can see the car now, the tyres beginning to blister, the softs now beginning to wear out, so the medium runners will start to come into play. How much they'll come into play depends on the individual drivers, because currently nobody of a mediums who's on the set of mediums at this stage is within touching distance, I think, of the top 3. Verstappen runs wide once again behind Toxic. 7/10 of a second as they come down the straight once again. And there's Toxic who leads from Verstappen in 2nd. Campbell is in 3rd with B. Morgan in 4th. Dan in 5th, McCrew 6th. Jasper 7th. And 8/10 of a second separating as Toxic dukes Verstappen, but Verstappen anyways is going to pit in. So Verstappen into the pits. We're seeing the first pit stop here out on track tonight, and it's a medium compound of tyres for Verstappen. Of course, the tyres will only get changed. It's about a 6-second pit stop in the F2 cars. Just over 6 seconds of Verstappen coming out. There's the yellow flag in sector 1. Is it Campbell that has gone off? No. Oh, it's Toxic! What's happened to Toxic? What on earth happened there? I don't have a clue what has happened there. I really apologise about that. He hasn't got a puncture. I think he's just purely lost the car out of turn 1, has he? Or through turn 2? Well, you can explain that one for yourselves, really. I don't really know what happened there. Verstappen in 8th. That's where he's rejoined. But Toxic from the lead of the race, maybe feeling that the tyres are going. Campbell keeping his tyres going another lap, of course, with Verstappen already coming into pits. And Toxic now 4 seconds behind. It's very difficult to tell if any front wing damage is visible on that car. It looks as if he's okay as he comes past me. He's lost his left side end plate, actually. He's lost his left side end plate. So, Toxic going around without a left side end plate. Has he lost his right side end plate as well? He has. He's lost both end plates out on track. So the Carling car struggling around out on track. He's going to try and keep the throttle down on the Carling, but he has definitely lost his left side end plate, but not his right side end plate. I don't have gin, by the way. I do not have gin. I've got Coke with me, if you're wondering my drink of choice tonight. It keeps my voice nice and refreshed as Campbell comes into the pits from the lead of the race. Let's see where he is going to rejoin, with Toxic now pitting in. He's got that front wing change to happen as well as a tyre change. This is going to be so bad for him. There's a yellow flag in sector 3. Somebody has spun out the final corner. McCrew, I think, has. Yeah, McCrew has spun out the final corner. Good to see that on the track map. Jasper has picked up a 5-second time, but you can see the rear tyres are being changed. He's going on to a set of medium compound of tyres, is Toxic. So the tyres now changing over, and now he will get to be released out of his pit box. And there we go, he releases out of his pit box. So Toxic now cost a little bit of time as Campbell comes out ahead of Bray, who is still yet to come into the pit. So actually, both Campos's 4th and 5th currently out on track are leading the way in the net lead of the race. But Dan currently out in front from B. Morgan in 2nd. But Tom beginning to get closer and beginning to sneak into this race, if I've got to be honest. We're on lap 11 out of 32. If you are just tuning in, no, you haven't woken up in trachoma, or you haven't woken up from a coma, I should say. This is League of Europe. We are live on a Monday night, and this is the F2 Championship. So if you're just tuning in and wondering what this is all about, then you know what it is, and you know who I am as well, hopefully. If you don't, I'm James Head, and I'm going to be taking you through the action, certainly for the next couple of weeks on the League of Europe channel. As Jasper has gone through on Sir Ibble, there's really no contest about that. Uni Vitolsi car has been struggling out on track, but Jasper has gone through, and he is in the he's in the Sauber Junior team by Charoux, of course, formerly known as Russian Time back in 2018, changing their name last season. And I think they are not changing their name this season either, which I think is good to report. Tom, we should see come into the pits. Now then, Verstappen, really quick. Tom already pulling off to the left-hand side, off the right-hand side. He's coming into the pits. Clearly doesn't want anything to do with Verstappen. I think that's the best way, to be honest. Don't let Verstappen get a bit of your slipstream. Tom has picked up a 5-second time penalty, though, for his pain. Dan, though, leads the way. 8.6 seconds. The two Dan's cars staying quite consistent, but the battles are going to be happening in behind out on track. Lap 12 out of 32. We are slowly approaching the halfway stage here in League of Europe Formula 2, and it is Dan who leads the way for Morgan in 2nd, Verstappen in 3rd, with Campbell in 4th. You can see, I'll actually tell you who has made the pit stops currently out on track. Those are the guys that have made the pit stops. Those are the guys that haven't. Dan, Morgan, Bray and Sir Ibble still yet to come into the pits, and the rest have already been into the pits. Bullet Boy, by the way, DNFing out of the race, making a few mistakes out on track, which is not really the best sort of thing. Of course, it is a learning curve for most of these drivers, as Morgan locks up ahead of Verstappen, and Verstappen has to go wide onto the curb and be forced off the camber of the corner, so he's not going to get the overtake done here. But the Brit against the Dutchman for 2nd position out on track tonight. And this could be quite interesting as we come through turn 12 once again. Don't want to get caught on the curb on the inside. It does fling your car off onto the curb, and it does fling your car pretty much into the wall and out of the race. I've seen that plenty of times around even Bahrain before in many, many leagues, including this one. Dan 8.2 seconds ahead. Morgan trying to carry Verstappen a little bit into the race. Dan's car still in 2nd. Verstappen currently in 3rd. That looks like Verstappen is going to get the move done here. Morgan will defend the outside line. Verstappen will be on the inside line, but he's running on the dirty part on the track with the dust being kicked up, but he's already gone through. Verstappen has gone through on B. Morgan, who doesn't want to let this down without a fight, and he has let him through. So Verstappen up into 2nd as Toxic has had a 5-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. Not sure what happened there with him. I can only imagine it was coming out of turn 14 where that has happened. Couldn't have been on the exit of turn exit of turn 13. Looks like it might have been on the exit of turn 14 there for Toxic. Of course, if you are enjoying the stream out on track tonight, and if you do want to get in touch with Formula 2, and if you feel inspired by joining the league, because some of you might not want to try anything new, I would heavily advise you to try something new and to get running out on track, because from what we've seen so far, we've seen a lot of good action out on track. The crew trying to catch the Ibble now further down the field for 9th and 10th position out on track. All of these guys currently going around out on track, top 11, because of the extended point system, which I alluded to earlier on in the stream. These guys will be picking up points. All these guys will be picking up points as long as they stay within the race and they stay in human form instead of going into AI mode. So obviously these guys will be picking up points, and if that's an extra incentive, then I don't know what is. Ebel, I think, doesn't want to fight the crew there, and maybe that is the best thing for Sable to do. Yeah, Sable running wide, he's trying to get a bit of heat into those tyres by the looks there. He is struggling out on track, but he's got Rajoyon in behind him, 18 seconds behind. Sebo going deep into this race. He might undercut him towards the end, actually, which would be quite interesting to see. Verstappen then on the charge behind Dan. Coming fastest lap out on track. It's a 43.2 set by Verstappen. And you can actually see how some of the guys have been doing on their fastest laps there. Verstappen on a 43.2. McCrew in behind on a 43.3. Campbell on a 43.5. And then Toxic on a 43.8. That are the current fastest lap times if you are a geek like me. And that is the gap between the leaders currently out on track. I wish I could bring you a lot more information as B. Morgan is off track. That is through turn 8, so that's a bit of a wild one. And we've got yellow flags in sector 1 and 2 as well. Somebody has spun out of turn 3, and that was Jasper. So Jasper has done a toxic. So Jasper now down into 9th. So I'm afraid, Frankie, he's down into 9th now. Braylow on the back of Morgan. After that mistake, Morgan's tyres will be on the receiving end of quite a pounding out on the track. You can probably take that as you are, really, and it doesn't mean anything dirty at all. Dan 4 seconds ahead from Verstappen in 2nd. Campbell in 3rd. We have just reached past 8 o'clock. Good evening to everyone that is tuning in now who is having the late league racing rush, where you might be leaving other leagues and coming to join us here in League of Europe. So good evening to anyone that might be tuning in. And of course, I'm James Head, taking you through the action here for League of Europe Formula 2. We are just approaching the halfway stage here, out on track, and it's Dan who leads the way. Verstappen closing them down by about a second and a half per lap. Toxic has picked up a 5-second time penalty again for running wide. Braylow in the meantime right on the back of Morgan. Is he going to try and lunge it down the inside into turn 1? The Maltese driver on the inside of the Brit, and I think no contest there. Morgan trying to get the overcut through the corner there on Bray, and it's not good enough as Bray has gone through on Morgan and he's up into P4. So the Maltese driver passing the Brit out on track. Dan 3.1 seconds ahead though from Verstappen in 2nd. Campbell in 3rd. We are nearly at the halfway stage with Bray in 4th, completing that move on Morgan. The interesting thing to note though is Toxic has got a 10-second time penalty respectively, and I'll run through the penalties now for you guys out on track. Dan has picked up 2 warnings. Verstappen has picked up nothing. Campbell has picked up 2 warnings. Bray has picked up nothing. Morgan has picked up nothing. Toxic has picked up 2 5-second time penalties for track extending at the final corner through turn 14. Tom has picked up a 5-second time penalty, which I would imagine is the same. McCrew has picked up a penalty, so that's 3 seconds. Jasper has picked up 8 seconds worth of penalties. So Ebo has picked up 2 warnings, and Rajoyan has picked up nothing currently out on track. B. Morgan, though, still giving Bray a bit of a fight here. Of course, the 2 cars out on track. It is the Trident against the Dams, and Bray in 4th position. Verstappen should get Dan, I think, maybe next lap around. You can see the guys going down into turn 1 on your track map, which is a very, very fun feature, I've got to say, to keep on board with some of the action out on track. Morgan though, 6/10 of a second behind Bray. I don't think he's going to be close enough down towards turn 1. We are now through halfway, and it's Dan and Verstappen and Campbell currently filling out the top 3 spots. But the battle you're on board with, and the only closest battle out on track, is between Bray and Morgan. There's a yellow flag in sector 2, and it is not one of the leaders. I think it might have been Rajoyan. Yeah, I think it might have been Rajoyan there who's just made a bit of a mistake, losing a little bit of time there. Morgan still trying to pressurise Bray, but you can see how quick Toxic is in the background of the shot. Well, I'll take you through Race Director once again and keep an eye on these lap times while I go through. 45.9 for Bray, a 46.9 for Morgan, and a 43.5 for Toxic. 43.5 for Toxic. Really, if he's closing them down at the rate that they are, Toxic will be on top of him, top of these 2 guys, probably next lap around. That's how quick the closing speed is here on a fresher set of mediums compared to the mediums that the guys are running. But of course, the problem is, with running mediums this far into the race, the softs are going to be going off at a quicker rate than the mediums. These guys are going to have to try and get maybe 18, 19, 20 laps in some cases to try and get towards the end of the race on a set of soft compound tyres. Verstappen then launching one on Dan down the inside. Can he get the car stopped? There's a little bit of side-by-side contact there, but Dan holds the lead of the race. But Verstappen now trying to go around the outside. Dan will give him the room to try and complete the move fully around the outside. We go on the right-hand side of your screen is Verstappen. Dan on the left-hand side. Verstappen all the way around the outside. Cuts Dan off at the pass. Dan is on the inside line, but Verstappen has came out on top. The pure traction of the Campos is through, and 7-lap old mediums against 16-lap old mediums. Well, there's not really any contest now, is there? Morgan right on the back of Bray as Bray defends the inside line. The Trident on the inside. Morgan and the Dams trying to go around the outside of the corner. It's going to be side by side into the S section. This is going to be tricky. Morgan backs off. He tries to go back around the outside because look at Toxic in the background. He's right on top of them both. Bray and Morgan gonna have to fight this carefully. Toxic all the way around the outside of Morgan through turn 8. Can he get the move done? The Brit against his fellow countryman, and I think with the pure traction off the corner, Toxic has got that move done. Good move there by Toxic. Found a gap through, and Morgan just has to really relinquish the position at that moment in time. The two Arc 1 pre-cars are also fighting out on track. It suddenly burst into life with Toxic right on the back of Bray. Toxic going for a late one down the inside. Oh my goodness me, how close was that to contact? Can he get the run off the corner? No, he can't. Bray getting the run off the corner. Toxic trying to go around the outside of turn 12 with Thresher tyres. Round the outside he goes, surely. Round the outside, yes he does. Toxic is through. Good move. He will rejoin though. Bray's going to be side by side with him. Morgan not out of this either. We could get 3 wide down the straight. Toxic backing up. That's a bit of a tactical flair. Morgan now down the inside on Toxic. Good moves. Good racing here between these two. Toxic getting a superior pace out of the corner. Bray now won't have the DRS. Toxic and Morgan will. Bray might be a sitting duck here running down the straight. There goes Toxic already past him. Morgan trying to follow suit. He's going to be on the inside line on Bray. Bray now has to try and pick up a move. Morgan not going for it though. Toxic is through on Bray in the meantime. He's up into 4th position. Good move there by Toxic as Morgan has spun out of turn 3. He's spun out of turn 3. The two Arc 1 pre-cars are going side by side as well. It's McCrew and Tom fighting it out. The two Dutchmen, softs against mediums. You know who I want to be on at this stage? I'll be the soft runner and I'll be McCrew, and he's gone through on Tom for position. He's up to 7th. Morgan has got the car going again. He's up towards turn 4. A little bit of snap of oversteer there from McCrew as he just tries to fight the car once again. This is going to give another opportunity to Tom now. And the medium runner just going past him, and he says, thank you very much pretty much for that one. And McCrew not fighting that one at all. But he is back on the inside line because he's side by side between the two Arc 1 pre-cars through here. Not quite. Not quite, but thrilling action. All of a sudden, this is all kicked off out on track, which is absolutely thrilling for you guys and thrilling for me to actually commentate on something instead of waffling on. Tom and McCrew, though, 7th and 8th out on track. McCrew obviously will use the DRS to good effect, and he tries to fight off the camber of the corner, trying to apply the power off the corner. Both look like they're around the same stage at this time in terms of tyre wear. McCrew now going to the inside line through turn 11. This is what Toxic tried to do a couple of laps ago. He's through on the inside, and McCrew is through. McCrew is through. I'm reporting I know it. McCrew is through. He's up to P7 out on track with Tom in P8. Currently, the two Arc 1 pre-cars still having a bit of a battle there. Campbell catching Dan though in the meantime. 1.5 seconds separating the Dutchman and the Scotsman currently out on track. And Verstappen currently doing a good job, the Dutchman. He undercut these guys by about a lap or so, or certainly undercut Campbell by about a lap or so, and he's leading by around 5 seconds if you discount Dan in 2nd position at this stage. Campbell in 3rd. Toxic now clear of Bray and B. Morgan. B. Morgan, of course, making that mistake. The side-by-side, though, still between the two Arc 1 pre-cars. They're literally glued together, almost like tied on with wheels at this stage. McCrew is back through on Tom, and he holds the position. He's still in 7th position. Tom right on the back. There's Jasper going through turn 1. But let's find back on board with Campbell, see how the action is unfolding out on track. And Toxic saying earlier on, actually, he had a DRS failure within qualifying. Just having a look at Discord, he had a DRS issue within qualifying. I didn't pick up on that, actually, so that's a bit strange. Love Island is coming on in an hour as well, if people are going to be watching that, just under an hour. It is Casa Amor for Love Island site, which is fantastic. But in the meantime, Campbell right on the back of Dan, on your screen right now as Campbell chases down Dan. These two very fond and fair rivals in GT Sport, now doing battle out on track in the Formula 2 cars. It's a Campos against a Dams. Dams in front in the blue turquoisey colour, and Campbell in the papaya orange, as I'm going to call it, of the Campos team. And currently Campos look like they're going to be taking the lead in the constructors out on track, because they're the only team that have got two drivers within the top 3 out on track, and even within the top 5. Campbell right on the back. He's just got to pinpoint a spot to try and get past Dan here, and then to try and catch Verstappen. He's losing time behind Dan. He doesn't want to try and go up the inside into a bit of a rash move. There was a yellow flag in sector 1. Not sure who might have been. Campbell a bit skew whiff out of the exit of turn 10. That's cost him time, and it's going to give Dan the advantage now down towards turn 11 once again. Verstappen leads by 5 seconds out on track. If you're just tuning in at this point, where have you been, first of all? 21 laps pretty much through in Formula 2 as Campbell dives it down the inside on Dan. Can he get the move done? Oh, that's a fantastic move by Campbell. Campbell pinpoints his spot. He must have literally heard me. He doesn't want to risk it down the inside. Lo and behold, what he does 20 seconds later, he goes up the inside of Dan into turn 13. A fantastic move. Dan relinquishes into the pits. He's had enough of those tyres. He's the first runner actually on a set of mediums to come into the pits. That's 20 lap old mediums that he's decided to come in on. We should be seeing Bray then and Morgan coming in soon as well. Right back on board though with the Arc Grand Prix battle. It's a separate battle out on track, lo and behold, but 7th and 8th currently for the two Arc Grand Prix drivers. McCrew, of course, and Tom, who McCrew will have to pit again. Those tyres will start to go off from around this point. They'll only last around 12-13 laps out on track. Tom may last it to the end of the race. He might be on a one-stop strategy. We'll have to see, as Tom actually goes well wide of the final corner, makes a mistake through a lock-up, brays into the pits as well, as we should see Sir Ibble coming in as well soon. B. Morgan stays out on track. His teammate Dan has just joined in front. The two Grand Prix cars fly past camera shot, and Bray is going to be coming out. There is Jasper actually just coming down towards him. Should see him on the right hand side of your screen any second now. There he is, just appearing into shot. There is Jasper, there is Bray, and Bray getting out ahead of him. So the sole Trident out on track for Bray, and he's in 8th position, and he rejoins in front. But Jasper with a bit of overspeed now, trying to look at this round the outside. Looks like he's got the superior pace, but it's whether or not he can hold it round the outside, as we see a beautiful helicopter cam for the first time tonight. Jasper runs wide, Bray now on the inside. He's on colder tyres. Jasper obviously has got to prove. Oh, a little bit of contact, just moving off line there slightly from Jasper. That was caught from a helicopter cam. Bray, I don't think, would have got that move done anyways. Jasper maybe just coming across him slightly. Nothing more than a bit of banging wheels and maybe a bit of a slapped wrist there, if I've got to be honest. But Jasper in 8th, Bray in 9th. The current battle out on track. We are about to start lap 23, I do believe. No, we're not. We're starting lap 22 because Verstappen's already gone through the line. We're on lap 22 then, as Sir Ibbo comes into the pit lane in the Universality team. He's about to come out of pit box now, and he's going to be joining well ahead of John, who has been struggling out on track. But Bray, the Maltese driver, now getting up to speed on that set of soft, the fresh set of soft. Jasper on a 10-lap old set of medium compounder tyres. This should be done maybe down the straight here towards turn 14. B. Morgan is into the pits. He should be joining behind these guys. Bray now down the inside. The Maltese driver down the inside on the Dutchman through turn 14. Gets the move done. But he should have waited for the DRS, because now Jasper has got a massive advantage down the straight. The DRS now enabled. He's going to have to go right around the outside, but on the straight he's much superior to Bray, and Jasper is back through on Bray. Good move here, good fight here between the two. The Sauber junior team by Sharukar against the Trident car of Bray, and Bray right on the back of Jasper. Jasper breaking the toe, defending the inside line, choosing his line, but Bray much later on the brakes. Now around the outside line, this should be job done. Right around the outside goes Bray, and the Maltese man just makes it look very easy indeed. He locks up going into turn 6, but he doesn't give one iota about that. Bray is back through, just got to watch out about his locking up through the corners, but he should now begin to pull away from Jasper, who just gets caught in the curb slightly and makes a slight mistake. But a good move there by Bray, and has got the move done into 7th position. But you can see they are looking up out on track, these two, and it is giving the tyres a bit of a hard time. And if they lock up into the corners, like you've seen with Jasper, Bray not doing it on that occasion, but if you see them locking up into the corners, they are actually going to be losing a percentage point more than what they would when they don't lock up out on track. Per lap, that is, per lap. So the softs are now going to really be taking a beating for Bray. Jasper, on the other hand, being a little bit more conservative on the brakes. McCrew is into the pits, as I expected, to be honest, coming into the pits off a 12-lap stint on a set of soft compound tyres. He'll be rejoining probably behind B. Morgan, who's coming round towards the final 2 corners now. Bray and Jasper coming past start position once again on lap 23 out of 32. The leaders, by the way, already coming round the 3rd sector, so about to go on to lap 24 in fact for these guys. Verstappen will lead by 6.2 seconds. They'll probably get to the end of the race unless they want to do a splash and dash, that is. Verstappen lead from Campbell in 2nd. Toxic now 3rd as a result of the pit stops, with Dan in 4th. Just got to watch out for how Dan closes in on Toxic. It's 19 seconds the gap, nothing to worry about for Toxic's point of view at this stage. But obviously the softs will begin to come into play, but I can't see Dan catching Toxic in 8 laps. I really can't see that happening at all out on track. Tom is in 5th. Who is always Jasper makes a mistake, his teammate there, sorry, not his teammate, Rajayan of course being Jasper's teammate, getting confused with my colour coding. I've got to be honest, I wish they could make it a bit easier for me to define which is the Sauber Junior car and which is the Arc 1 Prix car. But still, Jasper, right, still on the back of Bray at this stage, and Bray doing a good job. Got to be honest, a surprise package, if I've got to be honest tonight, the Maltese driver. Of course, I'll tune into the comment section now, see how you guys will be doing. There's a bit of a lack of action out on track. Good evening to Palmer, who was tuning in, I think, for the first time here in League of Europe. Good to see a very familiar face here from SLM tuning in. Next time, Jasper will be better. Yeah, I've got to agree. He's just locking up into the corners. You can tell on the... he's just locking into the corners. I think he might be... I thought he was going to come into the pits for a minute there, but if I was Jasper at this point, if I was from his perspective, with 8 laps to go, the leaders about 30 seconds behind him out on track, Jasper, I think, should pit. He'll lose the positions to Morgan and McCrew, but he should go for fastest lap and finish in P9. But whether he wants to afford that and lose a couple of points, then that's up to him. That's what I would do personally, though. I'm not sure if anybody else agrees. There's probably going to be a bit of hatred now coming out in the comment section saying, why do you want to do that? It's a good job I'm a commentator and I'm not one of the drivers out on track. As we run on board with Campbell, starting lap 25 out of 32. 7 laps to go here in League of Europe Formula 2, around here at the Sakhir International Circuit. And it is still Verstappen who leads the way by 6.7 seconds out on track tonight. From Campbell in 2nd, Toxic 3rd, Dan in 4th, Tom in 5th, Bray in 6th, Jasper in 7th, Morgan in 8th, McCrew in 9th, Saibo in 10th, Rajayan in 11th. The top 11 here, the 11 cars that are still going around out on track, will pick up points. Yes, you heard that from me, they will pick up points because we have an extended point system here in Formula 2. And if you're wondering where you can catch us next week, by the way, we are going to go to Belgium next week at Spa-Francorchamps for the Belgian Grand Prix. That'll be next week, and then Japan will follow the week after that as QVR Campbell makes a bit of a mistake. Sadly for him, that was caught on stream live. He wouldn't want to watch that one back later on. But it comes to show what how the drivers are really struggling now out on track to maintain the tyres and maintain heat into those tyres. It is a blistering hot day in Bahrain, with it being completely dry, blue skies and sunshine, no rain and no nighttime conditions of course here, and why would you get rain in Bahrain anyways? But Verstappen will lead us on to lap 26 from Campbell in second. I'll take you back though to a little bit of a closing battle between Morgan and McCrew. It's 3.8 seconds currently out on track. McCrew has done a good job so far in the Grand Prix car. His teammate Tom is up there in 5th position and has really came into his own with his strategy. He came into the pits slightly later than the leaders, Verstappen, Campbell and Toxic, who will struggle to get those tyres towards the end of the race. Tom, on a set of medium compound of tyres, he's on 13 lap old mediums, but with how Bray is just starting to catch him and eke into that gap slightly, that gap actually will not close down as severe as what he would think. Because Bray will probably have another 2, maybe 3 laps at the most of fresher tyres, and then they'll begin to start wearing off the cliff edge, as we like to call it here in Formula 1. Jasper losing time to Bray, who obviously is on a fresh set of softs as well. And he's 8.5 seconds behind Tom. And he is closing the gap, but he's not closing the gap to the effect that we would be thinking. Obviously, he's on a set of softs. You would imagine him to be closing in a lot quicker than what you would imagine, but Bray currently still doing a good job out on track tonight. Verstappen leads from Campbell in 2nd position, Toxic 3rd, Dan in 4th, Tom in 5th, Bray in 6th. As Jesper's in 7th, Morgan in 8th, McCrew in 9th, Sabo in 10th, and Magi in 11th. I'm just going to send a text. I'll be back in 30 seconds. Jasper then now beginning to lose the time to B. Morgan, and I am back here on the commentary. B. Morgan beginning to get closed down by Jasper. The leaders are on lap 27. These guys are still on lap 26. You can see how the leaders are beginning to close in. They one lap them, which is good, because I don't want to see anybody getting lapped here out on track. But B. Morgan 2.3 seconds off Jasper. Jasper's struggling with his tyre attempts now. And you can see how B. Morgan on a fresher set of softs, he's on the freshest set of softs you can have apart from McCrew, who is obviously on a lap fresher set. B. Morgan though 2.1 seconds off, and you should see him begin to close him down within the next lap or 2. I would see those positions change, and Jasper I think may drop to P9 because of his wearing tyre attempts out on track, his wearing tyres out on track. Verstappen by the way still out on track, and he still leads the way. He's just coming through the final corner there at turn 15, running slightly wide, but he's 8.9 seconds clear of his teammate Campbell, who has made another slight mistake out on track, unless he is losing the tyres, I wonder. He can't afford to pit though, because Toxic is 12.5 seconds behind. Dan in 4th, with Tom in 5th, Bray in 6th, Jasper 7th, but developing story here is Morgan against Jasper for 7th and 8th position, and you can see him beginning to hunt him down out on track tonight as Jasper and Morgan get close to each other. It's 7th and 8th out on track between these two, and 9/10 of a second only separating these two out on track. Let's see how this is going to unfold up then. The Brit against the Dutchman. And it is, of course, the Sauber Junior team against the Dams. Frankie coming in and telling me, I can tell him, and I call him and tell him no fast braking. Obviously, yeah, that might be a good thing to do. Just learn the track is another thing, another piece of advice I would give, certainly. You can see him just looking up again. It's not the difficulty of him locking up into the corners, it's the fact that you will lose the tyre temps through the corner. And you can see Morgan now right on the back of him. The crew's starting to catch this as well. Morgan will be looking to the inside line here towards turn 1. Morgan then down the inside. This should be just easy. Down the inside, Morgan he's half committing himself for the move. Jasper's always going to be on the inside line, has a much better exit. He'll try and get the switch back off, but Jasper much quicker there than Morgan. It's almost as if Morgan just either struggled for traction off the corner or just didn't feel confident enough to pick off Jasper at this stage of the race. Unless he'd want to provide us with a bit of action, then I'm all for it. But Morgan should have got the move done there really cleanly. McCrew now beginning to catch this battle in behind. He's 2.8 seconds off. He's closing in as Morgan gets very close to the back of Jasper. 1 lap 29 by the way for the leaders. So there's only three and 3/4 laps to go really. It's Verstappen and Campbell currently dominating out on track. It's going to be a QVR 1-2, the same QVR 1-2, funny enough, that you saw in Division 1 last time out. And if you do want to catch any of the races from the Saturday, Division 1, 2, 3 or 4, they are live. They have been streamed, and of course they are on the YouTube channel. Just go and look for them after this race. I think League 1 though, Division 1 is the most viewed stream so far in from last week's races. And I'm not surprised. I wonder why that is. Morgan right on the back of Jasper though, in the meantime. McCrew right in behind as well. 1.3 seconds off. Jasper. Morgan has been held up here. It's as simple as that. He should get the move done now. He's a lot closer this time around to Jasper. But Jasper will try and defend this with all of his might. But you can see what's coming. He's easily going to get past on the straight. Morgan had to wait an extra lap, but still, Morgan is through. And Rolls actually go up from the crowd with that move. Morgan is through, and he's up to P7. Jasper just cutting the inside corner slightly. Now the Grand Prix car on the back of the junior car. There is a yellow flag in sector 1. Not sure who that was. Don't know who that was. Jasper runs wide off turn 4. McCrew right in the background of shot. It might have been Sir Ibbo. Yeah, it might have been Sir Ibbo actually. If Sir Ibbo has lost it recently, and if he's got front wing damage, has he got front wing damage? He hasn't. So I think there's been a change of position there between Rajan and Sir Ibbo. I might have just called on that now, and I'm very late to the party with that. As McCrew has to really drift, Tokyo drift, through turn 10 there. Verstappen leads by 10 seconds. Actually, it might have been Campbell who made a bit of a mistake. He's losing time, Campbell, to his teammate ahead. As we are probably going to go on to the penultimate lap of the race. Well, we will go on to the penultimate race after this, but these guys are about to go on to lap 30 in the meantime. McCrew down the inside of Jasper, trying to defend that move down the inside. Jasper has got no chance to defend that one. McCrew goes for a late one. It's side by side running down towards turn 14. Always favour the outside of the corner here, but the inside line has it because McCrew is through. He defends the position, forces Jasper into going side by side with him actually coming out of the corner. McCrew switches to the inside line, runs adjacent to the pit wall. Jasper though with the DRS zone, he's back in front. Jasper back up to P8. McCrew trying to fight into P9. He's trying to look around the outside into turn 1. This will be brave if he can pull it off. He could do. He's on the inside going towards turn 2. He could pull it off. He doesn't quite do it though. Jasper hanging on and actually get it to poo run out of turn 3, and that's the nail in the coffin there with McCrew into P8. He had to wait for it, but he's through anyways, and Jasper defending with all of his might. Inevitably, how I would imagine him to do, there is a yellow flag ahead. That's Bray, I think, off. It is Bray that's off. Oh, and he rejoins in front of B. Morgan. Goodness me, that was close. Bray rejoining in front of B. Morgan. I'm not sure what has happened there with Bray. I think he's got caught in the curb coming out of turn 7. It's flung him off. You've seen him off, and B. Morgan must have been, literally, there was poo pretty much came out of his pants there. I would imagine it right now, he's probably had poo shitting out of his arse there. McCrew and Jasper have gained positions as a result as well. And for anyone of a crude nature, I do apologise about that, but what more can you say about that? Verstappen leads by 10.6 seconds. Let's try and dig myself out of the hole I've just put myself in. Campbell in second, Toxic in third. The top three are going to be as they are. Dan, Tom, Morgan look like they're going to be in the same positions as they are as well, as the leaders are going to come on towards the final 2 laps here out on track tonight. It is a nice race. Yeah, I've got to agree. It's been a really nice race. Of course, this is the season opener, so we have got more action for you to come this week. Of course, we've got more action for you to come this week, of course, on Saturday with Divisions 1, 2, 3 and 4. Division 1 and Division 3 kicking off at the same time at 6:40. I will be taking you through Division 1, of course. I'll be back in my natural habitat. And also, there'll be Division 2 and Division 4 at 8 o'clock as well. So do stay tuned in. If you don't want to miss any of the action here on League of Europe, if you don't want to miss any of our podcasts, our monthly podcasts now, from now on as well, do tune in to League of Europe. Like, comment, subscribe, tick that notification bell. You won't miss anything out on track from League of Europe. As McCrew is right on the back of Morgan, and Morgan now beginning to struggle. The Dan's car under pressure, but McCrew just giving him a bit of breathing space for 6th position out on track. But McCrew getting closer. Can he land can he land the blow that will really sting Morgan's tail out on track? Verstappen, though, in the meantime, is coming through the middle sector. He's just actually behind these guys out on track. There is McCrew, there is Morgan. We're right onto this battle as we come onto the final lap. McCrew is all over the back of Morgan at this stage. It looks like he's upped his fuel, and he's really beginning to close in on B. Morgan ahead. And B. Morgan down into the final corner. McCrew a lot quicker through there, and the Grand Prix car will be right on the back. You can really see how this might go. Morgan going adjacent to the pit wall. These guys start the final lap. However, in the meantime, it looks like Morgan is going to defend off the position. Verstappen is coming around the final corner. I'm going to cut to that now as McCrew nearly contacts the back. Verstappen coming around the final corner. The Dutchman, who won in Spain in Division 1, takes it here. The round 1 winner in Sakia for the F2 Championship. Morgan and McCrew still fighting on down towards turn 4. Around the outside goes McCrew. Morgan on the inside line. McCrew will be on the inside line going towards turn 7. This is side by side through the S section. Morgan gets caught on the curb slightly and hands the position to McCrew. McCrew is through and he's up to 6th. Morgan trying it, not going to be close enough for there. Thank you for trying though. Toxic picks up 3rd. Campbell, by the way, came across the line in 2nd. Toxic in 3rd. Dan will be coming across the line in 4th, all being well. So McCrew has gone through Morgan. Let's see if Morgan can try and battle back though, as we only have half a lap to go with these guys out on track. Rajayan and Sir Ibo are coming around on track respectively. Sir Ibo doing a good job to get that car around. Dan is going to be coming across the line in 4th. He has just done. He's got 5-second time penalty for an unserved penalty, which was picked up, I think, well, either extending track limits or picked up in the pit lane. More likely in the pit lane, I would imagine. Tom will be coming across the line in 5th. Grand Prix really taking that out in the first couple of races. Campos, of course, will be in top in the Constructors. Tom across the line in 5th. Good strategy from him, if I've got to be honest. He undercut quite a few of these guys in behind. McCrew at the final corner will beat Morgan to the line, all being well on the penalties. McCrew across the line in 6th. Morgan across the line in 7th, and they stay as they are. They had no penalties at all. Jasper coming across the line in 8th. He'll be happy with that. He's got the car home. Bray across the line in 9th, jumps in with the penalties, and Sir Ibo coming across the line in 11th position. That is it for Formula 2 action in League of Europe, and it's a division, and it's Verstappen who has dominated out on track. Had the run of the race early on. There was good scrapping between himself, Toxic, and Campbell. Toxic there making a very rare mistake when just in the right moment to try and take the win of the race from the pit stop. Made a mistake out on track. I can't really explain what happened to him. I didn't really see it out on track. Hopefully we'll get a comment from him in Discord or through the comment section to what happened. But the champagne flows here in Bahrain, and it is, of course, Verstappen, who carries on his form from Saturday night in Division 1, taking in Spain, takes it here in Bahrain in Formula 2. As we'll run you down the order for tonight, Verstappen, with no penalties, takes it out on track. Campbell, the Scotsman, finishes in second, getting a position on toxic. They're swapping positions from qualifying. Dan coming across the line to finish in fourth. Plenty of penalties. Tom Pitt coming across the line in fifth with the Arc 1 pre-team. Fifth and sixth with McCrew in behind in sixth. Morgan in seventh with OMG Bray in 8th, Jasper in 9th and Majayon in 10th, so Ibo in 11th. They all pick up points as a result of the point system. Only one DNF out on track, that was Bullet Boy in the Colin car, letting down Division 1 slightly there, but of course we should see him back next week for retribution and revenge, hopefully in Belgium. Let's have a look then at some of the comments that are coming through. Thank you to a couple of the new subscribers that have tuned in for this race. And thank you indeed for tuning in, Frankie, as well. Know you were a staunch supporter of Jasper in the comment section, and hopefully we'll see you next week as well for Belgium. Dan coming in and saying the Dutchies represent. Yes, they do indeed. DRS failure, last 5 or 6 laps for McCrew, so I couldn't open the DRS. That's unfortunate, really, to be honest. It's hard to get a DRS failure at any point of the race. It's really tough on the driver. Ibble coming in and saying V5 could be pole position in Spa, possibly. Judging by tonight, I think the Division 1 drivers might be the ones to beat, if I've got to be honest. I'm not putting any bias towards that at all. Just because I commentate on them doesn't mean I'm going to be fair to them. I probably won't be some of the time. But judging by what's happened tonight, I think Verstappen could be the one to beat going into Spain. It's inevitable, really. I think Campbell will be up there. I think V5 will be up there. I think Toxic will be up there. Hopefully all 10 next week. I think Dan will be up there as well. It's really exciting. Of course, there are still spaces available if you do want to sign up to F2 here in League of Europe. I know I've said that a numerous amount of times across tonight, but I'll repeat it again. There are spaces available in the Trident, and there's spaces available in the BWT Arden for sure. There are a couple of other spaces as well. As I say, add that guy there that I've just highlighted, ILRT Dan, if you do want to join in on all the action. Plus you'll get League of Europe's best commentator as awarded by you, the fans. But that is it from me. Thank you very much for watching here tonight in League of Europe Formula 2. I will see you on Saturday for Division 1, as well as the other tiers for Division 2, 3 and 4. Thank you very much for tuning in. I've been James Head. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.